Hello, welcome to another episode of Africa, the show that speaks par excellence when it comes to African things, culture, all the things that are involved in African living. On today's episode, it is a special focus on the SADC Industrialization Week, which happens here in Harare, and we're based at the HICC, where we get to speak to business people who are making their contribution in terms of telling the African narrative. First, we speak to Anna, who is based from Tanzania, and we also get to speak to Sue Chigorimbo, who is a curator of bags, an African line that celebrates not just Africanism, but also comes back here to Zimbabwe. In the third and final segment, we speak to Jermaine, who speaks about
Africa searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel.
In the first segment, we speak to Anna, who joins us all the way from Tanzania, and she speaks about the role of fashion when it comes to communicating culture. As you know, Tanzanian culture is very different from Zimbabwe, but one thing is for sure, fashion brings us all together. All right, so I'll ask you to introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you do.
My name is Anna Urio. I come from Tanzania. I'm an association, a woman from Tanzania. I present the lots of women from there. I'm working for the textile products, dress and the batik material from Tanzania.
So just you were telling me off camera that this is a woman organization that deals with women empowerment. How many women work with you, and how do you make all of these products here?
We are like 50 women together, to working together. I'm not working myself because it's a company. We are working the batik and the tailoring and the beads, like that, sandals, necklace, yeah.
So how are you finding Zimbabwe? Have you seen any similarities between Zimbabwean fashion and Tanzania?
Yes, yes.
How similar are they?
I saw someone is making the chitenge, but he's making nice dress like in my country. Yeah, I love it.
Oh my God, I'm happy that you love it. But let's speak about, the importance of culture, because obviously Tanzanian culture is different from Zimbabwean culture. How important is it for you to come to Zimbabwe and tell us about Tanzanian culture, but through fashion?
It's good because I'm making the good relationship with another women groups. Yeah, and I saw the big market for my things from Tanzania. So I love it, Zimbabwe. It's not first time to come. I come to the Bulawayo International Trade Fair. This is second time, but now I have many orders here. Yes.
Which is good. So maybe you can explain how you've made some of these. I'm seeing some beads here. Are these made by hand?
Yes, I make it myself. That.
How long does it take for you to make a product like this?
No, maybe per one day I make 3 necklaces. Or like these shoes, I make is only these flowers. I make in maybe 10 pairs per day.
So just looking at the products that you have on the table, are they just for women or you also cater for men?
Our company is women association, but making with women and youth together. I'm not making myself, oh no, women yourself, no. We are mixing in the youth men.
All right. Thank you. All right. So what's your name and what do you do?
Rutindo Kora. I work in CHA. It's a company of textiles and designing. We print clothes and then we buy our fabric from Kadoma Textiles. It's actually 100% cotton.
I'm looking at some of the designs here and I'm seeing there's a lot of homage to Zimbabwean culture, the Zimbabwean bird, Great Zimbabwe. Why specifically that print?
We want to try to make people not forget our history. Like if you learn heritage, you would find the Zimbabwean bird there. So we want to remind people, and we want other countries, like international, to get to know our country. And it's like we don't want people to forget. And we want to make our country proud of what it has. Yeah.
So, what does it mean for your brand to be here in a space where other African brands are also exhibiting? How important is it to you?
It's actually great because we get recognized by people. Like some of people didn't know that in Zimbabwe we can actually have 100% control from Kadoma, and we actually know how to do our own design, like printing our own design. So if people get to know you, like the company, they will start to get interested. Like a lot of people have been asking, do you do this or you get it from someone? So we want to know that, we want to make people know that in Zimbabwe we are able to do anything, like printing, like actually making fabrics as well. So we want to make people know we are a proudly country. We don't just buy things from other countries, but we also do make things.
So, how has been the reception so far, given that now the country is moving on a recognition drive where we're increasing our cultural awareness? Have people also been warming up to products where we are exhibiting Zimbabwean heritage?
It's a bit tough, but I can't really complain. So people when they don't really know the designs and stuff, some people it's hard for them to understand it. So if you explain to someone, no, we make this and that, they'll start to get to know like, so these designs are really nice and we want to try them. So yeah, it can be tough for us to sell these things to people because some of them, they don't understand the concept.
So, if there is something that you would change, or if you could have a wish granted, what would it be in terms of just business or people embracing fashion and cultural fashion?
I would want like people to know that it's not only about wearing something from other countries, but actually people should get used to our culture, not to forget our culture, because this is where our pride gets, right? So people don't have to forget the culture. So I want people like to get used to those fabrics. Make something fun. Make your fashion with your own fabric, like Zimbabwean fabrics, so that you don't forget where you come from.
Any closing words to a young person who is watching this and who probably wants to get into the same business as you are in?
I just want to say, don't rush into things before you get to know much things. Like young people now are getting married early. They're using drugs. Use your talent. Art is something which is good. I know a lot of people forget art and actually think art is something which is not useful, but it's actually useful. For example, me, I am a fashion designer, and I'm not only learning fashion designing. I'm actually learning the printing side as well. So you have to explore before you get stuck somewhere. Don't lose hope. Yeah.
So that was the story of Anna telling us how fashion unifies people and how fashion is also used as an economic driver for economic gains. In the upcoming segment, we speak to Suchi Gorimbo, who is also creative in her own narrative.
Africa searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent. iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent.
Thank you for staying with us on iAfrica. In this episode, we speak to Sue Chigorimbo, who tells us how fashion saved her life in essence, coming from depression to being creatively expressive. All right, so I'll ask you to introduce yourself, what you do, how long the brand has been in existence.
Hi, my name is Sue. I'm a crochet artist. My brand is by Mapara. It's been in existence since 2018. That's when I started my crafting journey. But then I started taking myself seriously as a business person in 2021. So as a business person, I've been in existence since 2021, but I've been crafting since 2018.
Oh wow, that's quite some time. But I'm so intrigued because I like the artistry that I'm seeing here. Did you always know that you had a knack for design, artistry, and fashion as a young Sue?
Growing up, if you ask people that went to high school with me, they'll tell you I was the resident hairdresser. So I thought I would take the hairdressing route, not this. So this I only started taking it seriously as business when I was 40. Yeah. So when I was growing up, I was more of the hairdresser, not the crafting, but I was a very creative hairdresser. Very creative.
You know, as I listen to you telling your story, I'm wondering why the delay? Why did it take you so long to finally embrace it?
So there's a story behind my brand. It came about as therapy. I went through a rough patch. I had depression. I attempted suicide in 2019. So after that, it became an escape. So that's why it took so long. I'm also really surprised all the time. Each time I make something, I'm like, you know, I've had the same hands for the past 40 years and it took this long. So I had to go through that rough patch for me to discover my gift.
But let's go back to the business side of things. I mean, you're here at the SADC Industrialization Week and your business has been in existence for a few years now. How has it been, first of all, just as an entrepreneur in Zimbabwe, and secondly, as someone who is in a niche market? Because I haven't seen a lot of these on the market, not just in Zim, but even in several other African countries.
So it has been quite the journey because it was very difficult for me to be taken seriously as a business person. So people would tend to focus on the story behind, like the mental health journey rather than the business side of things. But I've tried so much to be aggressive about my marketing, putting my work out there, and slowly but surely people started taking notice. And I've been taken seriously. I've been profiled in a couple of papers. I think it really made sense when I was profiled in the Business Weekly, because that's when I realized I'm being recognized as a business person. So the journey has been okay. And also the thing with handmade crafts, with the local market, there wasn't that much appreciation for it. But now people now appreciate the gift behind and the skill, and they're willing to pay the price. So it has been an amazing journey.
If there's anything that you would love to see develop on the Zimbabwean market, particularly for those who are entrepreneurs in fashion like yourself, what would it be?
More support from the various associations, more support from the government, because there's so much talent. There's so much untapped talent in Zimbabwe, so many creatives, but also because we are not taken seriously. For instance, with me, it's like madoiri, you know, and people don't take it seriously. So I think there's a lot of education that needs to go around as to the nature of the skill, the nature of the craft, and the importance and the worth of our work. Because a lot of people are selling their craft short. They're selling their skills short because it's not taken seriously. So I think that's the greatest thing that I want to happen, that there is more education and there's more support.
Art has always been a lens of, storytelling and selling culture. And I see just right next to you, there's a bag with the Zimbabwean colors on it. How important has it been for you personally as an entrepreneur to tell the Zimbabwean story through your art pieces?
I think in Africa, being Africans, we are not taken seriously as being creative enough or as being business savvy enough. So it's been very important for me to tell the Zimbabwean story and try and push my brand out there, proudly Zimbabwean, so that they know that in Zimbabwe there is serious business, there is serious craftspersons that are as creative as anyone else in any part of the world. So that has been very important for me, trying to put the Zimbabwean name on the map in terms of creativity.
Let's talk about the future projections. Where do you see the brand growing to?
For me, I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer, so I see big things happening for the brand. I'm very passionate about empowering other women. I'm very passionate about nurturing the talent from a young age. So I also go out in schools. I teach the craft from primary school. I've got a 9-year-old, she can crochet now. So for me, my growth is more based on that nurturing, because my dream is to open a craft school so that I can nurture talent from a young age, because I keep imagining if I had started this when I was younger, where would I be now? So I want to nurture talent from a young age so that we keep our kids from all the problems that we have now. If they keep busy with their hands, learn to create something, stay away from drugs, stay away from your gadgets, because our kids are glued to their gadgets more now. So for me, that's the dream, to open a craft school so that I nurture talent from a young age, and also to empower other craftspeople so that they can come in and teach and impart their skill. So that's the dream.
And your parting words. I mean, you've spoken slightly about the mental health, challenges that you face individually, and it's something that we've been speaking about all across the world, not just as Zimbabweans. What would you say to people, either just on the mental side of things or just business speaking?
So on the mental health side of things, I'm happy that it's not so taboo anymore. People can actually tell their stories like I always do with mine. I would recommend to anyone going through stuff to find something. You find your purpose. I found my purpose in crochet. So this has been therapy to me. It has taken me away from all the dark thoughts, and I've managed to make a living off of it. So sometimes we try to look deep and try to find other business ideas, but then it's something that's right under your nose, like it was, for me it was my hands. So my hands took me away from the dark thoughts, but they also put me on the map. I'm working with Simtrade, I'm alumni, I was part of the Next She Exporter program, and I'm grateful for this platform because it has really put my brand on the map.
That was the story of Sue, and I hope that you will be motivated as well to explore your creativity and also see what it has in store for you. In the third and final segment of this show, we speak to Jermaine, who gives us the side of luxury that we all love when it comes to fashion.
Africa searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent. Africa searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent.
In this segment, we speak to Jermaine, who gives us a detailed narrative of how he got into fashion and how sustainable fashion actually aids in the sustainability when it comes to making money and also reducing waste.
Hi, my name is Jermaine James Shafiwa. I'm the trade coordinator for the Zimbabwe Leather Collective. We have been promoting leather in our country, Zimbabwe, for the past 4 years. I believe in the leather industry, we do set trends similarly to, like, look at what I'm sitting on, look at the shoes I'm wearing. So we have had quite a bit of impact into the fashion industry, but it has been somewhat muted down due to the effects of COVID-19. I think if COVID had not happened, we would have actually managed to have, we would have gotten to where we are now sooner. Well, for me, sustainable is depending on the leather you're trying to sell. If you're selling your bovine leather, which is your cow leather, obviously for value addition purposes, it would be advised or it would be better for you to actually supply the leather so that it can be preserved or made into something that can be used as opposed for it to rot in the ground. Likewise, with your exotic leathers, where yes, everything is governed by the national parks laws and CITES, which we adhere to very strictly with our products. For example, for this couch to move from Zimbabwe to another country needs permits. It just doesn't get smuggled. In those permits, it will tell you where the zebra was hunted and the circumstances thereof and the numbers that are then provided by our national parks to say the population of this is this, and what have you. But mainly, if you see game skins, they are being hunted on the basis of population control, so that they do not go into general populace and potentially injure or kill people. I don't think it has affected any business because I believe that everybody's got a renaissance spirit inside them of furniture like this that is old school, classy. Class, I believe, it outlives time. So I don't believe we have been affected by that. And even if you look at the fashion trends, it looks like we're going back. The belly bottoms and the whatever, they're now coming back into fashion. So I believe that our sort of creations actually outlive time and also trends. So the fashion show was initially curated by the Zimbabwe Leather Development Council to showcase the leather creations that we have. That is when they did reach out to us at the Zimbabwe Leather Collective, because we are the biggest leather collective in the country of different manufacturers. And from there, we then reached out to ZCMA, which is the Zimbabwe Clothing Manufacturers Association, and the Fashion Council to create a full value chain. I believe that all these industries, we do work together, and by working together, we can make unique creations that combine both textile and leather. Fashion is a contributory factor because it's something that is easily accepted by people, and also it gives you a glimpse of what is there. One of our philosophies is you can never have a full appreciation. For example, if I just use in the sense of since I'm married, I don't think I would have really been married if I never tasted my wife's cooking. So this is a taste of what the leather industry can give, and from the feedback we have gotten from the people here at the SADC Industrialization Week, they love it, and also they've discovered that it is not as expensive as they thought. Yes, some pieces are expensive, but expensive is different to different people. Really want to see in terms of the fashion industry, of which that question would have been nice if the Fashion Council of Zimbabwe representative was here. But from a leather perspective, I would like to see more collaborations like the ones we have here, where we mix the materials to make certain products that are unique and give a unique product offering that is proudly Zimbabwean, and supporting our creatives to then show and get into the limelight of the international or the global community. The leather industry has a lot of opportunities for value addition. For example, if you own cows and you're killing your cow and then disposing of the cow hide, that's a potential hide that can be turned into this couch. So one of the things that we would want to do is, in future, engage rural communities in terms of what they use their hides for. In our partnership with the Standards Association of Zimbabwe, curate the standard that is required for resale and maximum value addition, and then also expose them to the international market through our partnership with FedEx. So where we see the industry going is that right now it's still quite a special, unique, small industry. But what it requires is, if there are more interested parties, please do join, even if it's something like making curios, at let's say at our city hall in Bulawayo and here in Harare. Get into it and see. Obviously, bit of patience here and there, but I'm sure that at the end of the day, you would actually see that this industry is very, very prominent, and it also adds a lot of value. Thank you.
So this was the serving on today's episode of iAfrica. We spoke to 3 phenomenal creatives, 1 joining us from Tanzania and 2 locally in Zimbabwe. I hope that you were inspired and you will explore your creativity, as it can not only be a means of expressing yourself, but can also be a means of life. I am your host, Nicole Jamu, and until next time, stay inspired and stay African.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion and design through to architecture, art, food, and travel. The focus is on outstanding individuals doing extraordinary things on the African continent. iAfrica presents creatives in their home nations, visiting renowned designers, musicians, architects who are leaving their mark on the young continent. From well-known brands through to ambitious startups, every week iAfrica seeks out the continent's best design and lifestyle innovations. Join me, your host Nicole Jamu, as we take a round trip across Africa and get you inspired, motivated, and future-oriented.